Perfect. All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Non-TEFAP Partner Agency Training. This training is specifically for agencies who do not receive any government commodities. If your agency does distribute TEFAP or CSFP, you can find trainings on our YouTube page that are specific to your agency program. Please know that we are recording this webinar live. So if you have any questions, we ask that you please be sure to drop them into the chat so that we can capture these and answer them for the agencies who are not in attendance today. So let's get started. All right. So today's training agenda will be as follows. We're going to go over United Food Bank introductions, expectations of partnerships, trainings and requirements, the different types of food streams, storage and distributions, and then reporting and audits towards the end. Please also be sure that you are taking some notes, as some items may have changed from last year, as well as there may be a small pop quiz later in the presentation. So let's start with introducing the team. My name is Christopher Bodner. Some of you may know me, but for those that don't, I am the Agency Capacity Specialist here at United Food Bank. Our team also includes Charity Stern, who's our Chief Program Officer, Karen Scoggins, who is our Agency Logistics and CSFP Manager, Mark Rosso, who is our Food Resources Manager, Maya Galvan, who is our Hunger Program Specialist, Taylor Alcaraz, who is our Agency Governance Manager, and Tori Wilson, who is our Agency and Programs Manager. It's a pretty big team. Here are some general expectations of your partnership with United Food Bank. I won't read them all, however, I do want to highlight a couple. First being that you must notify United Food Bank of any changes in leadership, location, days or hours of operation. If there are changes in the location, United Food Bank needs to approve the new site prior to storing any United Food Bank foods or receiving your next United Food Bank delivery. Second, agency partners must read and respond to emails within 1 to 2 business days. This is important because all key information is relayed via email communication. We hold ourselves to this standard as well when responding to our agency partners. Third, we ask that you be kind and treat all with respect and dignity. And lastly, please refer to your agency handbook to familiarize yourself with all expectations of partnership with United Food Bank. Here's a list of required documents that need to be submitted to United Food Bank, as well as a list of required trainings your agency needs to complete. Please check to be sure that you have all of these requirements completed. If there is something on this list that you believe to not be completed by your agency, please let me know ASAP and we will get you the proper information to complete these items. Okay. Additional United Food Bank requirements include attending our partner agency conference. These conferences are in the fall and will be provided on 2 different dates, one for the northern agencies and one for our southern agencies. The agency conference is where we will be sharing upcoming and innovative information. This also provides our agencies with a fun networking opportunity. During the 2021 agency conference, we handed out a United Food Bank conference t-shirt. If you did not receive a t-shirt last time, or you would like some additional shirts for your staff, please let us know and we will be happy to get some over to you. Communication is important to us here at United Food Bank. One way we are starting to communicate with our partner agencies in 2022 is through our agency newsletter. The agency newsletter is sent to either the primary, secondary, or reporting contact for your agency. An agency newsletter is designed to support you in building your agency's capacity, communicating important updates, sharing general announcements, and supply food pantry and nonprofit specific resources. This communication will always contain important agency information, so please be sure that at least one contact at your agency receives this newsletter each month. This newsletter will be sent monthly. If you have not received this newsletter yet, please be sure to check your junk or spam folders and mark this as a safe communication. If you believe that you are not on our communications list, be sure to email me and let me know, and I'll add you to the recipient list. Okay, we are now going to focus on the information and requirements for non-TEFAP programs. The two food streams that we're going to focus on are the Pantry Plus program and the Grocery Rescue program. Pantry Plus, also known as wish list items, is a monthly order of food from various United Food Bank sources based upon availability. Products include purchased, donated, miscellaneous non-perishables, also known as MNP, and then as well as bread and pastries. After 60 days of being a compliant United Food Bank partner, you are able to request a Pantry Plus form. To get your Pantry Plus form, you'll email Karen Scoggins, who is our agency logistics and CSFP manager. She'll send one over to you. Items on the Pantry Plus form must be ordered in quantity that is able to be stored properly at your distribution in a timely manner. Or, excuse me, must be properly stored and distributed within a timely manner. Excuse me. The Pantry Plus form can only be updated once every 6 months. Any changes to the Pantry Plus order must be communicated to agency and programs at least 72 hours before delivery to ensure accuracy. Most items on the Pantry Plus form will have an associated shared maintenance fee of 19 cents per pound. This is a handling fee paid to United Food Bank in return for services provided. Please note that the Pantry Plus orders are filled based on available inventory and donations. Therefore, partner agencies will not receive all product that is requested on this form. All right. Grocery rescue is when agencies like yourself get in a vehicle, drive to an assigned store, and physically pick up donated goods. There are two different ways for grocery rescue to be accessed by partner agencies. First is agency enablement. An enabled agency is a partner agency of United Food Bank who is authorized to pick up designated donations directly from grocery stores and other retailers on behalf of United Food Bank and Feeding America. With the right equipment and a commitment of just 2 pickup days a week, you could be matched to a store to pick up a character-laden foods and distribute these foods to your community. The second way to access, grocery rescue is through United Food Bank's store-to-door program. The store-to-door program allows an entire route of diverse items to be delivered directly to the agency's door. For all agency rescue support and questions, you can contact Mark Rosso. His information is on the screen there, and I believe he's also here in our webinar today. So Mark, if you want to drop any additional contact information in the chat box. All right. Perfect. Now we're going to go over some information on how to prepare for and receive a delivery from United Food Bank. United Food Bank places your delivery time within a 2-hour window. The 2-hour window is a customary transportation process that gives our drivers flexibility in case they run into common delays like weather, traffic, mechanical problems, etc. If these common delays are anticipated to cause the truck to miss the 2-hour delivery window, United Food Bank will call the partner agency to inform them of this delay and set up an additional time for the or day to deliver the items. When receiving a delivery, a food handler's card holder must be present to accept the delivery. This is to ensure that food safety is being followed at every step of the food bank supply chain. Be sure to confirm that all foods were delivered by checking the invoice and the driver provides. If there are any discrepancies, be sure to email the agency and programs team. Before the driver leaves, be sure that you have checked and signed the invoice, and be sure that the driver leaves you a copy. Please remember that all invoices must be kept in your files for a minimum of 5 years. If you happen to forget to ask the driver for a copy, or perhaps you misplaced the invoice, please reach out to the agency and programs team so that we can send an additional copy over to you. Lastly, we ask that you always be kind to the drivers and be sure to thank them for being an important part of what we do. After receiving your delivery, it is now time to store it. Since we want to ensure food safety, United Food Bank has set some requirements for storing food. Food received from United Food Bank must follow the FIFO model, first in, first out. To ensure that the FIFO model is being followed, all food items must be labeled with the date that it was received. When storing, please keep in mind that all food must be set on non-porous shelving and be 6 inches off the ground and 4 inches from the wall. All foods received from United Food Bank should be labeled as United Food Bank foods. This makes it easier to distinguish what foods come from United Food Bank and what foods you receive from the community. Here we have a great example of food being stored and labeled correctly. Note that a non-porous shelving is in use in this example. Right here. And then the labeling here, you can see they have dates. It's hard to read, but there's dates. If your agency does not currently follow these storage requirements, please know that this will dock points on your audit score and could push you out of compliance. If you need support in making these changes, please reach out to the agency and programs team. Food safety is important to United Food Bank, and we want to be sure that our partner agencies are being food safe at every step of the food bank supply chain before providing foods to the client. Excuse me. When conducting audit, United Food Bank will be checking for the following items: that no food is placed on the floor at any time, never, ever, even making boxes, anything like that. All coolers and freezers need internal thermometers, and a temperature log is required for each cooler and freezer. All food must be stored 4 inches from the wall and 6 inches off the floor. And shelving for dry storage must be non-porous material. You can refer to the partner agency handbook and food safety trainings for complete information and guidelines on what we're looking for food safety. Now that you have successfully stored your food inventory, it's now time to distribute to your clients. With the exception of agencies who are closed to the public, we recommend that your distribution times be posted so that the public can find them. This can include, but not limited to, website postings, social media postings, flyers, public billboards, and many more. Required United Food Bank signage must be displayed in client view during distribution hours. We will go into this into more detail in the next few slides. Most of you might already be familiar with the Meal Connect system, but for those who are not, Meal Connect is a web-based tool for reporting grocery rescue pounds. Recording of weight into Meal Connect is preferably done the day of pickup, but must be completed within 72 hours of servicing a store. Please know that paper store donation receipts must be retained for 3 years. Link-to-Feed is a computerized reporting system that some of you agencies may already be using. To learn more about the Link-to-Feed, you can check out the Link-to-Feed training series on our YouTube page. Lastly, United Food Bank recommends that food be distributed in fair share proportions per household size, meaning that larger families receive more food. You can monitor this by utilizing the equitable distribution model, which is household sizes 1 through 4 receive 1 serving of food, whatever that may be, a box that you build, something like that, that's your 1 serving, right? Household sizes 5 through 8 receive 2 of those servings, and then household sizes 9+ receive 3. Okay, required United Food Bank signage that must be displayed in client view during your distribution hours are the Justice for All poster, Americans with Disabilities Act, income eligibility guidelines, civil rights complaint or grievance forms, written notice of beneficiary rights, which is for faith-based organizations only, your hours of operation, that's only if it's applicable to you. If you are not open to the public, you do not have to post those. Code of conduct, then allergen warning signs. If you're missing or need the most up-to-date forms, you can scan the QR code, or you can follow the link that I'm going to put in the chat right now to find those. I do want to note that the And Justice for All poster will not be available on for print online. The And Justice for All poster is required to be displayed in its original size of 11 by 17 inches. So please contact us if you need to receive an updated one. And you'll see what the updated one is in the next slide. Here. So you can see the And Justice for All sign is now with, I believe it's the courthouse. I could be wrong. I haven't been to DC in a long time. But it is no longer the Statue of Liberty. So if you have the Statue of Liberty, let us know. We can get you the updated one here. We have the American with Disabilities Act here. Make sure that you sign this copy with your information. The allergen warning sign, hours of operation, code of conduct. This is to kind of protect you in any way. You can create this on your own with things like dogs must be on leashes, no skipping in line, things like that, whatever you want. Income eligibility guidelines. This one's for TEFAP. There is one online, I believe, for others, but it pretty much follows the same format here. Civil rights complaints form, and then this is for the notice of beneficiary rights for faith-based agencies. Okay. As stated earlier, when distributing, we always recommend that you distribute in fair share proportions per household size, as well as build your own food menu. To find how much of each item to give to each household, determine the inventory number of the product and divide that by your average household number served per month. So for example, if you have 200 cans of green beans sitting in your inventory, take the number of how many you serve per month, how many households you serve per month. So this one here is 50. This example is 50 households per month. You would take 200 divided by 50, which would mean you're giving 4 cans per household. This formula not only helps you build the food menu, but will also help you distribute food in a timely manner. Okay, hope everyone's been paying attention. Drop your answers into the chat box. But now that we're all caught up, let's take a pop quiz here. How should food be stored? Is it A, in a dark, spooky closet? B, outside in the rain? C, set on a non-porous shelving 6 inches off the ground and 4 inches from the wall? Or D, in your uncle's farmhouse next to the horses? Taylor's trying to make me laugh here. Perfect. I'm seeing lots of C's coming in. Perfect. All right. Well, the answer is C. Set on a non-porous shelving 6 inches off the ground and 4 inches from the wall. It is important to know that United Food Bank will be checking for food safety when visiting your agency. All food must be stored appropriately and all temperature logs must be maintained. Additionally, when United Food Bank is auditing your agency, we will be checking for dates that are labeled on the foods, as well as appropriate labeling that it's a United Food Bank food. Perfect. Now that we have received it, stored it, and distributed it, it's now time to report it to United Food Bank. For non-TEFAP agencies, United Food Bank requires agencies to use the monthly participation report, which is also known as the NPR form. Reports are due by the 5th of the following month. You will always send those to the monthly reports at unitedfoodbank.org email address. All Meal Connect data must be entered correctly and completely prior to turning in the NPR. This also includes link to feed. I think I skipped that on the slide, but this will include link to feed as well. All data must be entered in correctly. And then as well as all sign-in sheets must be filled out completely and signed and dated. Perfect. So here's a shot of what the NPR and sign-in sheets look like. Some of you may be familiar already with these. We're now going to go over these reporting together so that way you have all the tools necessary to be successful when completing these. So let's start with the NPR form. To avoid receiving the email from us stating that you may need corrections on your report, we recommend that you follow these steps. 1, include your agency name, number, and reporting month and year. Step 2, select how you receive food from United Food Bank. This could be the grocery rescue, standing orders, which is actually should be now Pantry Plus. I think this is an older picture. Food drives and donations or other. Let's see. Perfect. Step 3, complete this table that shows either how many household distributions, so that'd be household served, individuals served, as well as food boxes distributed, or if you're a congregate meal site, you would enter how many meals you served. You will sign and date the bottom of the form. Always important to sign and date. You can't tell you enough how many times I have to send a report back just because somebody didn't sign it. So please make sure you're signing them. Okay. So step 5 is be sure all information is filled in correctly on the sign-in sheets. So you'll make sure that you have client's name, address, number of people in the households, number of boxes they received, and their birthday. Make sure that you include your agency name on the sign-in sheets. And then make sure that you sign and date each page. So if you have multiple pages, just make sure that each one is signed and dated. If you are up into the hundreds, 200 pages, if you want, you can make like a stamp or something like that, whatever it is that you may be more efficient for you. But each page does have to be signed. Okay. Important, some non-TEFAP agencies use link to feed to sign clients in. If you're one of those agencies, this information about the sign-in sheets probably won't apply to you. However, I have seen that some agencies use sign-in sheets and then retroactively enter into link to feed. If you're one of those agencies that are still using sign-in sheets and link to feed, you still need to sign and date the sign-in sheets, send those in to us, as well as keep those on for 5 years. Okay. Should be step 8, actually. But you will double check your report and make sure that all the numbers are correct. All the signatures are on the bottom of the NPR as well as on the sign-in sheets. And then step 9, you're going to be emailing it to United Food Bank. Before I continue, are there any questions? Drop in the chat box if there's any questions about reporting. The NPR is a little simpler than some of the TEFAP reporting, so I'm thinking it's pretty easy for everyone. Okay, not seeing any questions. We'll also have a moment to go over questions at the end, so no worries. Perfect. Oh, I do have a question. Perfect. We can go over that right now real quick. The most common mistake for non-TEFAP reports that I see are missing signatures. That's the biggest one. Especially with everyone who has the stack of hundreds of sign-in sheets that they're signing, sometimes they just miss a signature here or there. So I'll always send that page back and just ask people to sign. So I think that's the biggest mistake. Some other ones might be missing food boxes or missing how many households they served, things like that. I'll always send that back as well, just saying, hey, can you fill this information in? Thanks for your question. Okay. All right. So just a monthly checklist to kind of go over to prepare you for the entire month. First thing is the beginning of the month, review your inventory that you have on hand, and then email us if you need to make any changes to your order. That we just need at least a minimum of 3 business days before your order to make those changes. On your delivery day, compare your delivery with the invoice, mark any inconsistencies and then notify us. Sign and date the invoice, store and label all of your food that's been delivered with the date. And then after your last distribution of the month, fill out the NPR using sign-in sheets, and then you will email that to us by the 5th of the following month. I do have a question here. If we have a fundraiser or donations not from United Food Bank, do we include that on the report? No. So with the report, any kind of food And there is no section in the NPR form to report inventory. So for non-TEFAP distributions, you don't have to report any inventory. The only time you'll need to report your inventory is for TEFAP, and that's a different video. We have that posted on YouTube if you want to check that one out. It goes over that. But if you have community donations, anything like that, that won't go on that TEFAP form. The only thing that goes on the MIPR, which is the TEFAP form, will be TEFAP commodities. And those are all listed on your invoice as with a T in the item number, or it'll have TEFAP in the name. But for non-TEFAP, we're not really tracking any inventory, just as long as we're getting the household numbers and individuals that you served, as well as boxes, or however many meals that you served. All right. So some last few details here. We're getting close to the end. Like I said, it was only going to be a quick one. United Food Bank will be checking that everything discussed during today's training is being followed and in compliance. However, please know that these are not meant to be scary or to get you in trouble. We want to support you with the best tools and resources to be successful. So during our visits, we will be bringing materials that support your agency if we find anything out of compliance. Excuse me. This could include things like the correct signage, information or recommendations for different shelving or anything like that. So we're always there to support. Question here says, do we check the box, going back to reporting, I'm assuming, do we check the box where we get the food that says donations? If it's food drives or donations on your end, yes. We still want to track just to see where your food supply is coming from, just kind of curious, just for data entry. We kind of make note of that, saying, okay, these pantries are getting food drives or donations from their community as well. Good questions. All right. So back to the audit. You can find the audit review form that we use when visiting your agency on our website mentioned earlier. If you download this form and follow all of the items listed here, your agency should be in compliance and on your way to be highlighted in our agency newsletter. I love highlighting agencies. One thing I do want to mention is that even though this form has language around TEFAP and CSFP programs, just know that this form is also used for all of our programs at United Food Bank. So for non-TEFAP agencies, we still will be checking for things like food safety, FIFO, program knowledge, as well as some of the items listed here, that your hours of operations are posted, inventory is being kept properly, record keeping, things like that. And you can find this on the website that I put in the chat box. All right. As a best practice, United Food Bank requires all agencies to hold and maintain records for a minimum of 5 years. Essentially, anything that has a signature on it, keep it, do not dispose of it, keep it for 5 years. Pretty simple, good practice. All right. Well, thanks for attending today's non-TEFAP training webinar. We hope that you were able to take away some valuable information that you can take back to your agencies and be successful. I'm going to open it up to some questions now. Feel free to dive into the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. This is an okay time to do that, to ask any questions you may have. I'll leave it for a few seconds, and if there's no questions, then we'll wrap up. All right. No, I don't see anybody coming off mute here, and it looks like there's nothing left in the chat box. All right. Well, I got to thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Well, please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. I'm always here for support. So is the rest of the team. You can find my support hours right here. I am putting that in the chat box. Feel free to sign up and meet with me. I'm available all day on Fridays, pretty much. Log in, we can chat. We can talk about how you're doing. We can support you with questions that you have, or just tell me what you're doing at your agency. What's new? What's what's working, what's not working, anything like that. So thank you again, everyone. Have a wonderful but safe and compliant 2022.